Let's continue the compound interest challenge, playing the Hong Kong Baccarat strategy, combining it with X marks the spot. Let's go. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Let's go ahead with session number 26. We left off with a balance of 677.02. And for session number 26, we are sticking with $11 as our unit size, looking for a balance of $711, which means we have to make around $34 for session 26. We will be playing X marks the spot. How do you play X marks the spot? Well, I'm going to show you. We are basically betting against an X pattern forming when we sit down at a Baccarat table and place our bets. I'll show you what I mean. This is an X forming with the banker side. Okay, just like that. We are betting against this pattern. How do we bet against the pattern? Well, we would join a Baccarat table and first off take a free hand. So let's say the free hand is a banker. We now know that we are betting against a banker when we get the opportunity. Where is our first betting opportunity? Well, it's down here. So after our first free hand, we would take another free hand and then place our first bet right down here. We would bet for player, and if a player comes, great. We have broken the X pattern. As you can see, it is not an X anymore because we have a player here. After a win, I reset and start a new X pattern. If we lose and we get a banker, we wait for our next opportunity to bet, which would be the middle spot right over here. So we would take a free hand up here and then bet for player once again during the middle spot. And if player comes, great, we have broken the X pattern. We start a new pattern. If not, we keep going until we get a player. If we lose all bets and X has formed and we have lost that sequence, which does happen, and we would restart if we haven't hit our stop loss. Make sense? Now, I'm going to clear this because we will be playing X marks the spot, but we will use the layout of the Hong Kong Baccarat strategy. And if you don't know how to play the Hong Kong Baccarat strategy, I will leave a link down in the description. Make sure you go check that out so you're not confused. So for the Hong Kong strategy, we wait for our three pattern. So for this example, it's banker, player, banker. And we play the X slightly different when we're using the Hong Kong layout. I'll show you what I mean. Normally, we would play the X going down vertically, right? But since we're playing the Hong Kong Baccarat strategy, we're going across. So our betting opportunities are slightly different. We're going horizontally rather than vertically, okay? So same thing, we will wait for a free hand right over here. So say we get a check mark. Our next bet would be right over here, top right corner. We would be betting for the X. We want to break this X pattern. We don't want this to show up, as you can see on the board. You can see that the check marks have formed an X pattern, which is what we are betting against. All right. We would bet for the X top right corner. And if we win, great. We have broken the X pattern. We will start a new pattern. If we lose, our next betting opportunity would be the middle spot right over here. So after this free hand, okay, we would bet for the X once again during the middle spot. All right. And if we win, great. Again, we restart with the pattern. If not, we continue until we get a win or an X forms on us. And same thing, if an X forms on us, we will reset if we haven't hit our stop loss. Got it? Good. Now for our betting progression. Our unit size is $11 for this session. I will break it down by 50%. So I will use $6 units since I can't place a $5.50 bet. And I will go with a delayed negative progression. It will look something like this. If I lose, I will move one to the right. If I win, I will move one to the left. If I make it to the end of the progression and lose after 8 steps, I will end the session as that will be our stop loss. All right, let's hit the tables and get the session started. Gotta love Bitcoin. Our balance is slightly up, so we have a little bit of a cushion here. I'm going to join a fairly new table. Let's go with this one here, Speed Baccarat E. Now you guys know that for the Hong Kong Baccarat strategy, I like to have at least one banker and one player in my 3 pattern. And since we have a player streak going on, I'm going to take the last 3 results when a banker shows up as my 3 pattern. Okay guys, that way we have at least one player and one banker in our pattern. Okay, there we go. Last 3 results are player, player, banker. We are now going to use check marks and X's. I will take a free hand here and bet against it during the top right corner. And hopefully we don't have an X form on us. And we're looking for a balance of $711 for this session. Player wins, we get a check mark. So we already know that we're going to bet for the X after this free hand. How do we bet on the X? Well, we take a look at our 3 pattern. You can see the banker above here. So if we're betting for the X, I'm going to place a bet on player. All right, because if a banker comes, we get a check mark here, and we're betting against the check mark. Banker wins. This is an X. So I'm looking for the X here. I will place a $6 bet on player. We're starting with 50% of our unit size. If we lose, we move 1 to the right. If we win, we will move 1 to the left. Okay, perfect. We win our first bet. We do get the X plus 6. Great. I'm going to clear everything here. We're looking for another 3 pattern and some free hands, and then we'll place our next bet. So we get an X. Now we know that we'll be betting for the check mark after this free hand. So how do we get the check mark? We will be betting for the banker. If you take a look up here, B for banker, and we want this to be a check mark. All right, so after this free hand, we will place our next bet. Okay, here we go, looking for the check mark. 6 on bank. Natural 9 for the player, so we lose. Minus 6. Where is our next betting opportunity, guys? You got it, middle spot right over here. And we're still looking for the check mark. All right, so after this free hand, we will bet for the check mark. And for the betting progression, we are moving 1 to the right on a loss. So I'm going to stick with a $6 bet after this free hand. Banker wins. Check mark. Looking for the check mark here. So this will be a player bet. All right, you can see above our 3 pattern is showing player as the second result. And since I'm looking for the check mark, I'm betting on player. Second bet of the progression, $6. Nope, we lose that as well as we get an X. Minus 6. Our next betting spot would be the bottom left corner here. And we're going to move 1 to the right once again, which would make our next bet $11 after this free hand. Banker wins, check mark. All right, looking for the check mark here. 11 on bank. We're trying to break the X pattern here. Let's see if we can pick up a win. Perfect, we do get the check mark. Plus 11. All right, and since we hit, we can clear everything and look for a new 3 pattern. And after a win, we move 1 to the left. So we are at the second bet of the progression, $6. So I'm going to wait for a new pattern here. New pattern, player, banker, banker. Let's take a couple of free hands and start betting. Player wins, check mark. So we'll be betting for the X right after this. Okay, here we go, guys. I'm gonna put 6 on player since I'm looking for the X here. Nope, banker wins. -6. Next betting spot is the middle spot right over here. So after this free hand, we will continue betting on the X. All right, looking for the X, moving 1 to the right on our progression. So 11 on player. Natural 9. Player wins, perfect. Plus 11. And since we hit, we can clear and look for a new pattern. I'm sure you guys are getting the hang of it now. We have a new pattern of banker, player, banker. And our first free hand is an X. So I'll be betting for the check mark after this free hand. And we are at the second step of the progression. So after this free hand, we will place $6 on banker. Okay, here we go, looking for the check mark. 6 on bank. Okay, player gets bailed out by the 8, so we lose that, -6. All right, next betting spot is the middle spot, and we are at the third step of the progression once again. So I will place $11 on player right after this free hand. All right, 11 on player, looking for the check mark here. Trying to break the X pattern. Nope, banker wins. We get an X. -11. Fourth step of the progression now. And our next betting opportunity is the bottom left here. So after this, I'm looking for a banker bet. Okay, I'm looking for banker here for 11. All X's here, 6 in a row. So we're trying to break that. Fourth step of the progression. If we lose this, we have to go to $17. But let's see what happens here. Natural 8 for the player. All right, minus 11. So if we don't win our next bet, unfortunately an X has formed on us, which does happen. All right, so after this free hand, looking for banker for $17. Okay, looking for the check mark here. 17 on bank. Let's see if we can finally break the X pattern here. Nope, player wins, and unfortunately an X has formed on us. That is okay because we are not at our stop loss just yet. I'm going to clear everything here and look for a new 3 pattern. Back-to-back X's are rare. It can happen, yes, but the probabilities are low. So I'm expecting a win during this sequence here. Okay guys, here we go. I'm going to place 17 on banker. We have a new 3 pattern, and since I'm looking for the X here, take a look above. It says player, and our free hand was a check mark. That is why we are looking for the X. Okay, banker wins. Perfect. Like I said, back-to-back X's forming is rare. It can happen, of course, but we're using probabilities here, right, guys? So since I hit, I'm going to go ahead and clear this. We are on hand 48, actually, so let's get out of this shoe and look for a new shoe. Okay, Speed Baccarat A, brand new shoe. I'm going to leave this up since we are at minus 18. Okay, another banker. Three bankers in a row. We need at least one player in our 3 pattern, so I'm going to wait here and take the last 3 results instead of the first 3. Okay, we get a player, so last 3 results are banker, banker, player. That is our 3 pattern. Let's take a free hand here, and then we'll place a $17 bet. Okay, so after this free hand, I'm looking for a check mark, which means we'll place a bet on player right after this free hand. Okay, here we go. Looking for the check mark. So 17 on player. Natural 9 for the player. Check mark, perfect. Plus 17. I'm going to go ahead and clear this and look for a new 3 pattern. We can move 1 to the left on our betting progression, so the next bet will be $11. Alright, once again I have a 3 in a row on bank, and I need a player in my 3 pattern, so I'm going to wait and take the last 3 hands. Okay, there we go. Last 3 hands are banker, banker, player. So that is our 3 pattern. Let's take some free hands here. Okay guys, here we go. I'm looking for the X, so I'm going to place a bet on banker for 11. Our free hand was a check mark. That is why we are betting against the check mark. So looking for banker here. Fourth step of the progression. Perfect, natural 8 for the bank. We do get the X. Plus 11. I'm going to go ahead and clear. And restart. I'll move this up for you guys. Okay, I'm looking for a new 3 pattern. Okay guys, new 3 pattern, banker, player, player. Free hand is an X. So after this, we'll bet for the check mark. Third step of the progression, so $11 on player right after this free hand. Okay, here we go. 11 on player. Looking for a check mark. Oh, we get lucky there. Player pulls it off. Plus 11. Okay, not at our win goal for the session just yet, so we're going to clear and look for a new pattern. And we're on step 2 of the progression, so back to $6 bets. New 3 pattern, banker, banker, player. Free hand is an X, so we're looking for the check mark after this free hand. I'll put $6 on player right after this. Okay, here we go guys. I'm looking for the check mark. So let's do 6 on player. We have a nice little win streak going here. Let's see if that continues. Nope, banker wins. X minus 6. Our next betting spot is the middle spot. Alright, so after this free hand, I will place a bet on the check mark, banker, for $11 because we are on step number 3 again of the betting progression, okay? Check mark, looking for banker here. Banker for 11. Here we go. Nope, player wins once again. So minus 11. Our next betting spot will be bottom left corner. And we're still trying to break the X pattern. So after this, it'll be another bet on banker for 11 as we are on the 4th step now of the progression. Okay, looking for bank here. Nope, player wins once again, minus 11. So if we don't win our next bet, an X test formed on us. Next bet will be for $17. Okay, looking for the check mark, so 17 on player. Okay, so we do get the check mark on our last bet, plus 17. So an X did not form. We can go ahead and clear this. And let's see here. So we are on hand 33. So we can stick with this shoe for one more sequence. All right, guys. And let's see here. The betting progression, we are on step number 4. So let's wait for a new 3 pattern. And then we will place an $11 bet. Three players in a row. We need one banker in our 3 pattern, so I'm going to wait until a banker shows up, and then we'll take the last 3 results. Okay, guys? There we go, we get a banker. So last 3 results are player, player, banker. I'm going to take a couple of free hands here. Okay guys, so we have our free hand. I'm looking for the X here, so I'll do 11 on player. Our free hand was the check mark. That is why I'm looking for the X here. Step number 4 of the progression. Okay, perfect. We do get the X plus 11. Okay. Hand number 42. So, you know what? Actually, I'm going to head over to another table and continue. Okay, guys. We are on a fresh table. Let's clear this and look for our 3 pattern. We're going to wait for a banker to show up because we need at least 1 player, 1 banker in our 3 pattern. There we go, we get a banker. So last 3 results are player, player, banker. And now we can take some free hands and start betting. Okay, our free hand is a check mark. So after this, we'll bet for the X. I'm going to place an $11 bet on player right after this. Okay, here we go. Looking for the X. And since our 3 pattern is showing banker up here, to get the X, we need to bet on player. So 3rd step of the progression. Odds are in our favor. And there we go. Perfect. We do get the X. Plus 11. And we have hit our win goal for this session. So we're going to go ahead and exit the table. All right, check out our balance, $714.06. I'm going to pull up the spreadsheet. Okay, $714.06. Session number 26 in the books. And there you have it. The Hong Kong Baccarat strategy combined with Xmarksthespot. What did you guys think of this combo? Do you have any questions? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you're enjoying the compound interest challenge, go ahead and destroy the like button. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on bell notifications. Do you want to make extra money sports betting? Well, I am on a tear this month, especially with college football and the NFL. Go to my website and pick up a subscription, MrRafael.com. As always, thank you everybody for tuning in. I will catch you in the next one. Ciao.